Hello everybody out there watching on YouTube, and welcome to race number 8 of Season 5 of the NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series. I'm Levi McIntyre, the voice of the NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series, here to welcome you to Oswego Speedway as we're getting set for 44 laps of racing here for the NAPA Auto Parts Challenge Part 1. Yes, this is Part 1 of a two-part event here at Oswego, and the second part will be taking place during the chase later in the season. But before we look at the starting lineup, as per, we got to take a look at the point standings. So after last week at Atlanta, Matt McIntyre leads by 7 points over 3 drivers tied for second. Carson Gum, our pole sitter for today, James McLeod, and Benjamin Miles. Fifth in points is Joshua Collard, 6th is Patrick Smith, 7th Dylan Jacobs, 8th Tim Fiegel, 9th Rafael LeDuc, and then 10th Sean Galligan. But without further ado, let's take a look at the starting lineup for today. Starting in the last row is Joshua Sekuli and Zachary Fitzwater. Top 10, James McLeod on the pole. Starting next to him is Preston Plord in the 24. Row 2 is rookie Ryan Butcher and Rafael LeDuc. Row 3, Dylan Jacobs, Cody Lamas. Row 4, Dylan Poteet, Dylan Thoreau. And then row 5, DJ Curtis and Tim Fiegel. But let's get the command to fire engines for the NAPA Auto Parts Challenge Part 1 at Oswego.
Drivers, start your engines!
But yeah, I got a feeling we could be in for something special here, because last season when we ran Oswego, we had a couple of great fights for the win in both of those races. I'm hoping we see more of that here at this famed dirt track here that we now go to every single season. But the pace car is getting ready to pull into pit road. James McLeod's going to lead us to the green flag. Boogity, 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 let's go racing! Ryan Butcher, the rookie in the number 6, led the first lap, and now he's about to get tested as here comes Dylan Jacobs trying to run very low on the racetrack to try and get the lead for himself. But he almost left that bottom open for Dylan Poteet to make a move, as it's still side by side for the top spot, and I see Llamas into the wall. Yeah, I saw Cody Lamas get in the wall. He was sideways, but he seems to be okay, as there are 3 wide back here in the back of the field, and somehow we are still clean and green right now. But back up here at the front, Dylan Jacobs has cleared Ryan Butcher for the lead, but he may have a new challenger, Dylan Poteet in the 31. He's been running lower and lower and lower on the racetrack, trying to get some speed on that race car, and now he's got to run to the inside of the 78 of Dylan Jacobs as it's a Dylan fight up here at the front of the field. And Poteet, can he clear the 78? He does. New leader Dylan Poteet, as Dylan Jacobs going to try and fight on the outside to try and get some speed. As meanwhile, Sean Galligan, who moved up into the top 10 in points after Atlanta last week, having a better run going today here so far in the beginning, as McLeod got sideways contact with Dylan Young, but he saved it, and we are still clean and green. Yeah, look at all the dust kicked up from driving on this dirt track. As I'm trying to look for the 51 of McLeod, there he is. Yeah, I think I saw him go off the front bumper of the 2 of Dylan Young and nearly spun into the inside wall, and he somehow saved it, and he's still running right now in the top 10. And And he started on the pole, but unfortunately didn't get to lead a lap to get an extra bonus point. Especially since he's got a few other drivers to contend with. Benjamin Miles, Carson Gum, and Matt McIntyre. And I'll take a look and see where those guys are running here in just a moment. But right now, Poteet holding the lead, but only by a little bit as Galligan's trying to figure out a way around the 31 of Poteet, as the top three up here know each other very, very well. Poteet, Galligan, and McCrory, who's up here in third. These three have had a long and storied history here in the NR community. And look at them running 1, 2, and 3 right now. DJ Curtis right now running in fourth as he's trying to hold off a charging Dylan Jacobs. And then a potential battle for the 6th position between rookie Ryan Butcher and Preston Plord in the 24. As we are still clean and green here at Oswego. As right now, Dylan Poteet, ever since he had taken the race lead, nobody's been able to make a move on him quite just yet. But I was talking about with McLeod, let's see where he was last scored. Last scored 12th. Let's see where the other drivers in that top 4 in points are currently running on the racetrack. Matt McIntyre all the way back here in 33rd, and then just a couple of spots behind him is Benjamin Miles. Now, what about Carson Gum? Oh, he's in that bottom 5 position again. He finished out of the race 40th back at Michigan a couple of weeks ago, and that cost him quite a lot of spots in the points. But he regained it back by finishing well at Atlanta, but right now he is not having a very good run, and currently would be one of those bottom 5 to not get points. Along with Baskinger, Shears, Seth Cole, and Lamas. And Lamas has got rear end damage after he nearly got taken out of the race, but somehow still green. But he's not off the pace, I don't think. It's just he's got that rear end damage that's hindering him from trying to get up there to fight for position. But back up here at the front, Poteet's still hanging on strong, but we may have a battle for second. I believe that it already had happened. McCrory was third, and now he's up to second as Galligan's trying to get that spot back. And then I see up here Emmanuel Hartnett took 5th away from Dylan Jacobs. And speaking of a Dylan, here's Dylan Young in the 2 car, who's running in 7th currently. As Butcher and Plord continue to fight, except now it's for the 8th position. And Preston's got a big run to the bottom. Can he clear the 6 off of turn 2? Doesn't quite clear him, but maybe he'll clear him off of turn 4 here. Especially now, because look who else is entering the fray. Alex Drayton in the 14. So move the 24 of Preston Plord up to 8th. And now it's side by side for 9th between Ryan Butcher and Alex Drayton. Drayton with that run to the inside. Doesn't have him cleared yet, but does beat him for the spot. And now it looks like he's going to clear him finally. So Drayton up to 9th. Butcher falls back to 10th for now. Side-by-side battle for the 7th or the 6th position as Dylan Young clears Dylan Jacobs for that spot. And then I saw on the ticker we got a new leader. Anthony McCrory leads over Dylan Poteet. But when we cross the line here, we'll try and do a full field rundown. As now we're halfway through here of the Napa Auto Parts Challenge Part 1, as currently Anthony McCrory is your race leader, 2nd is Dylan Poteet, 3rd is Sean Galligan, 4th DJ Curtis, 5th Emmanuel Hartnett, 6th Dylan Young, 7th Dylan Jacobs, 8th Preston Plord, 9th Alex Drayton, 10th Ryan Butcher. 11th is James Qualls, 12th is Joshua Collard, 13th Kyle Matthews, 14th James McLeod, 15th Ethan Hoffman, 16th Dylan Thoreau, 17th Colin Phillips, 18th Chris Dollarton, 19th Tim Fiegel, 20th Colin Francis, 21st Paul Minnick, 22nd, Matt McIntyre. 23rd, James Shelley. 24th, Rafael LeDuc. 25th, Jessica Shelton. 26th, Charles Sanford, and now that makes that Trent Dunham. 28th, Patrick Smith. 29th, Jay Jefferson. 30th, Benjamin Miles. 31st, Dougie Shears. 32nd is Zachary Fitzwater. 33rd, Jonathan Zorling. 34th, Jake Rogers. And then 35th, Joshua Sekuli. Currently the bottom 5 are Seth Cole, Jake Baskinger, Diego Yepes, Carson Gum, and Cody Lamas. Back up here at the front, it is still a battle for the lead and potentially the win if this race stays green the rest of the way between two good friends, Anthony McCurry and Dylan Poteet. As I see Hardnett, he's been slowly gaining ground on these leaders. About 10 to 15 laps ago, he was running in around 7th or 8th. Now he's up here in 3rd, and I think he may have something for the top 2 if he continues running the line that he's running. And he was just slightly faster than the top 2. As meanwhile, DJ Curtis moved past Sean Galligan for the 4th position. And then meanwhile, we may have a battle going on here, potentially for 7th, between Preston Plord and Dylan Jacobs, as Jacobs in the 78 trying to run the bottom. Couldn't quite make it stick right there. But look at this, James Qualls up to 9th. And we got a couple of battles behind that. Right here, a potential battle for 10th between Alex Drayton and Ryan Butcher, and then a battle for 12th between Joshua Collard and Kyle Matthews, as Matthews trying to work the bottom lane and gets a big run. Can he clear him off of 4? He does. Move the 42 up to 12th. Meanwhile, back up at the front, it is still Anthony McCurry leading, and he's pulling away little by little over Poteet, but Hardnett is reeling in on the top 2, but does he have enough time to make a move around those 2 drivers ahead of him? Meanwhile, we got side-by-side battle for 4th between DJ Curtis and Dylan Young. Dylan Young got that inside lane, but doesn't have the 4 quite cleared. And then back here, a battle on for 9th between Dylan Jacobs and James Qualls, as when we get to the line here, it'll be 10 laps to go. And it is 10 to go now. Meanwhile, both the 31 and 20 got close to the 61 right there, but Hardnett was the big closer in that ordeal, and now he's trying to find a way around the 31 of Poteet. As Hardnett continues to chop down that race lead, but he's having a hard time trying to figure out what's he going to have to do to get around Poteet, as he keeps trying to run lower and lower and lower compared to what Poteet's running. And now Hardnett side by side with the 31. He may have something. Hardnett now trying to take 2nd away from Poteet. And he's got to run. Can he clear him? Not quite cleared, but he's going to have the advantage off of 2 here. Let's see if he can clear him this time. And he does easily clear the 31 of Poteet. Now we shall see if Hardnett's got something for McCurry, as McCurry might have to start mirror driving it now, especially because we're now coming, and it's 6 to go here in Oswego. And right now, McCurry leads by almost a quarter of a second over Hardnett, but Hardnett's proven that he's been the fastest car pretty much all night, and yeah, he's had the fastest lap of the night. So he's definitely got some speed. It's just a matter of precision of whether or not he can get away from Poteet and also reel in the 61 even further. But we're coming to 4 laps to go. Time's starting to run out for the 20. But the 20 is right there to the back bumper of the 61. He still has some time to make something work, as Hartnett's trying to run lower and lower, and he's there to the quarter panel of the 61. We may have something here, side by side for the lead between Hartnett and McCrory. McCrory's still hanging on the outside, but I think Hartnett's going to get the advantage off of 4, but he's still not quite clear. McCrory's fighting hard on the outside. 2 laps to go here at Oswego. Does Hartnett clear McCrory this time? And he does. Emmanuel Hartnett now to the lead. But does McCrory have something back for the 20, as it's the white flag displayed here at Oswego for the NAPA Auto Parts Challenge Part 1. McCrory's got to run to the inside, or at least I thought he did. Didn't quite carry enough speed, and I think that might have just sealed the deal as we're coming off of turn 4. McCrory going to try one more time. Still nothing. Checkered flag. Emmanuel Hartnett wins the NAPA Auto Parts Challenge Part 1 at Oswego Speedway. Couldn't remember quite where Hartnett started, but he gradually worked his way up through the field one by one, managed to get the race lead and the win. As there's probably some wrecking going on the racetrack from cars trying to get onto this very strange pit road. But congratulations to Emmanuel Hartnett for getting his, I believe that's his first win of the season for that number 20 team. Great run needed for that 20 car. But let's look at the rest of the results. Anthony McCrory finishing off strong with a second place run. Almost had the win, but Hartnett was just way too fast at the end of that race. Dylan Poteed, who led early on, but finishes strong in third. Dylan Young, who was similar to Emmanuel Hartnett, worked his way up one by one, got a top 5 finish in 4th, and then DJ Curtis rounds out the top 5 in 5th as some pit road glitches are going on. Hooray! Sean Galligan with another great run to help him out in the point standings in the 6th position. Preston Plord, who came through with a solid run in 7th. James Qualls, who was working his way up one by one, gets a top 10 in 8th. Dylan Jacobs, who led a little bit in the beginning, finished strong in 9th. And then Alex Drayton rounds out the top 10 in 10th. And then there you see the rest of the top 20, then the top 30, and then the rest of the field. And the bottom 5, who does not get points, are Seth Cole, Joshua Sekuli once again, Diego Yepes, Carson Gum, and Cody Lamas. But that does it for our coverage here today at Oswego Speedway, as that concludes the NAPA Auto Parts Challenge Part 1. Next week, we head to Texas Motor Speedway for the NRA 500. But until then, here are your results, rookie points and regular points heading into Texas. And this is Levi McIntyre, signing off.